Hi, today I want to talk about the Tu-160, the bomber NATO called Blackjack. In Russian media, you will often hear a very different nickname, White Swan. And honestly, I get why. It's huge, it's sleek, and it almost looks like an air show aircraft until you remember what it's built to do. But don't get distracted by the cool factor. This video is not a spec reading contest, how fast it is, how many degrees the wings can sweep, or how many tons it can carry. The real question is, why does a headline like Russia deliver induce two more Tu-160M aircraft get so much attention? And what signal is Russia trying to send in the bigger picture? Before we go deeper, a quick note about number. Public information on the Tu-160 family comes from multiple sources, and some parts are naturally sensitive. You will also see terms like Tu-160M and Tu-160M2 used interchangeably in some reporting. Sometimes a headline says new aircraft when the story underneath is really an upgrade of the airframe. So today, I will stay at the big picture level. I will clearly separate what is relatively stable from what is an estimate. Alright, the latest headline in plain English is this. Russia announced that its aerospace force received two additional Tu-160M aircraft. The message wasn't just two more planes. The message was we can still deliver big strategic platforms. And that leads to the obvious question. Why does only two aircraft sound like a big deal? Because strategic bombers are not the kind of weapon where you simply count units and move on. They are both combat power and a signal. Sometimes the signal, industrial capacity, state continuity, and strategic messaging matters as much as the number itself. Think about it. A call for symbols, massive, fast dramatics, and suddenly it's in the news again with deliveries. That's its statement. The big stuff is still moving. To make this story fun and understandable, we need to separate one thing first. What is Tu-160M? What is Tu-160M2? And why do people mix them up? The original Tu-160 is a very large supersonic strategic bomber with variable sweep wings. It was built in an era where speed and low altitude flight were seen as a way to survive air defenses. The world has changed a lot since then, but the platform still matters because it has three core advantages that don't go out of style. It can carry a lot, it can fly far, and most importantly, it can launch long-range weapons from outside the highest risk zones. That last point is why platforms like this remain relevant in the modern era. Modern strikes don't always look like a 1990s movie where aircraft fly straight into the dangers. If you have the right network, communication, targeting, and standoff weapons, you can strike from far away. So, what is Tu-160M? At a high level, Tu-160M is a major modernization program, an upgrade package intended to extend service life, improve readiness, and bring onboard systems closer to modern digital era operations. The keywords are updated avionics, navigation, communication, and the practical work that makes an aircraft usable and supportable in today's environment. Then, what is Tu-160M2? In many sources, M2 used to imply new build production, the idea of restarting or reconstituting the ability to build complete Tu-160 airframes while also incorporating modernized systems. But here's the truth, media use isn't always consistent. Some reports don't clearly state whether a given aircraft is newly built or an upgraded legacy airframe. So here's the simple mental model. When you see Tu-160Ms, think major modernization. When you see M2, think more about industrial restart, new build framing. And in real life, the details can vary case by case. Now, let's get to the fun part. Why the delivery of two more aircraft actually matters. First reason, industry. A strategic bomber is not like ordering cars. It's an enormous chain, engines, electronics, material testing, certification, and complex assembly. Keeping that chain alive is hard in normal times. It's even harder under economic constraints and technology access limits. So the act of delivering can be political proof. The factory, engineers, and support network can still move something big across the finish line. Second reason, strategic signaling. Strategic bombers are a visible part of deterrence. They force the other side to assume long-range strike capabilities still exist, whether in the nuclear role or conventional long-range missile roles. And the two aircraft headlights get heavier when you place it next to battlefield wear and tear. Because Russia had faced real loss and damage in its long-range aviation fleet. A clear example is the deep Ukrainian drone operation on June 1, 2025, widely referred to as spider web. Reuters, citing US official report that up to about 20 Russian aircraft were hit, with around 10 destroyed. Reuters also cited a German assessment describing more than a dozen aircraft damaged, including Tu-95 and Tu-32 bomber and a 50 surveillance aircraft. And beyond statements, some satellite imagery analysis report visible damage at Belaya Air Base. The point is not to turn this video into a day-by-day news recap. The point is, once strategic aircraft are damaged or destroyed, they are not easy to replace. Reuters quote experts saying replacement can take years, which is exactly why modernization and replacement efforts become urgent at the same time. So, when Russia say two more Tu-160M have been delivered, you can read it as more than PR. In the bigger picture, it can be seen as a small patch on a strategic capability that the battlefield is trying to wear down. But I want to be fair. Having aircraft like this doesn't mean everything is ready and perfect. It doesn't mean every airframe is available, and it doesn't mean the platform is unvulnerable. In modern war, survival and effectiveness depend on the whole system: intelligence, protection, airfield readiness, maintenance capacity, and planning, not just speed and altitude. Third reason, the domestic story. A headline like "We delivered two strategic bombers" is emotionally powerful inside a country. It's concrete. It had a name, images, and a physical object people recognize. That kind of story lands harder than abstract budget numbers. Now, to keep everyone on the same page, here's simple high-level spec snapshot. Public sources vary slightly across variants, so this is meant to show the scale and concept, not to win an argument in court. If you remember only one thing from this table, remember the concept. The Tu-160 Tu-160M is a massive long-range platform built to carry a lot, fly far, and launch weapons from standoff distance. And the M label is basically the attempt to give an old platform a new brain, better avionics, navigation, communication, and readiness. And the cost scale matters because it shows why two aircraft is not a tiny story. We are talking about programs where every single airframe is a major financial and industrial event. Now, we return to the key question. What does Russia actually gain from adding two Tu-160M aircraft? First, continuity of the fleet. With large aircraft, the real fight is not how many exist on paper, it's how many are ready to fly. Every aircraft has cycles, maintenance, upgrades, waiting for parts, inspections, trainings. If the fleet is small, every aircraft that goes down for maintenance hurts the readiness percentage a lot. So even a small number of delivery can help keep the overall fleet looking more continuous, at least at the big picture level. Second, a modernization narrative. If you translate Tu-160M into normal language, it's an attempt to make an old platform function inside a modern network. Modern war is data, communications, targeting, and coordination. If you have long range but poor connectivity, you end up with a showpiece. Modernization is the effort to keep the platform operationally relevant. Third, proof the program is still alive. The world look at delivery and immediately asks, can this be done repeatedly? How fast? What are the bottlenecks? Engines, subsystems, testing, integration. To sustain a long-term goal, more aircraft, longer service life, you have to win the industrial game first, not the spec game. Before we zoom out, here are 3 quick reality checks. 1. Mach 2 doesn't guarantee survival. In modern war, survival is about planning, intelligence, protection, and launching from safer distance. 2. Big doesn't mean many. Strategic bomber fleets are often limited in size because they are expensive and hard to sustain. 3. Deliver is not the same as fully combat ready. Real readiness is training hours, part, technician, airfield, infrastructures, and the support ecosystem. Now, let's zoom out to the bigger picture. Big picture 1. Preserving long-range strike capability. Whether you like Russia or not, the reality is that platforms able to fly far and launch long-range weapons preserve a strategic tool without always exposing aircraft to frontline risk. And the other side had to spend resources to track defense and plan around that capability. That's part of deterrence. Big picture 2. Industrial meaning under constraints. In major weapons programs across many countries, the real battle is supply chain stability, skilled people, testing standards, and the ability to maintain readiness in year 10 to 15. So, 2 aircraft delivered can be a signal that the state and industry can still put something heavy through the system. Big picture 3. A signal to the world. Some weapons don't need to be used to be effective. They are built to be seen. The Tu-160 is one of those symbols. People recognize it instantly, and symbols work faster than long policy documents. So, here's the single sentence I want you to remember. This headline doesn't mean Russia suddenly became dramatically stronger because of 2 aircraft. It means Russia wants the world to see that it can still sustain a key part of its strategic long-range aviation capability. And the more interesting question is not how cool is Mach 2. The more interesting question is how far can that continuity go industrially, financially, and operationally. Before we end, I will leave you with a comment question. If you were the planner controlling the budget, what would you prioritize? Would you spend to increase the number of airframes? Or would you spend to maximize readiness and sustainment so the aircraft you already have are truly available? Drop your answer in the comments. If you enjoy big picture defense story that don't get stuck in spec sheet trivia, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.